What's up, guys? This is PWA30 coming at you once again, and this time I'm going to do my thoughts on Resident Evil 6. I just bought this game earlier this week. Now, I consider myself a veteran of the franchise. I've played the first Resident Evil game I ever played was Part 2, which was I played it on Nintendo 64, and then my Nintendo 64 had broken and I ended up buying Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation. And I've also played Resident Evil 3, and then I played the Resident Evil remake for the GameCube, then Resident Evil 0, then Resident Evil 4, and Resident Evil 5. And I've beaten all those games. Now, the only game I never played was Code Veronica, but I heard that was one of the most challenging of the Resident Evil games. Now, I consider myself a fan. I like all the Resident Evil games. I like the old school style, which had the zombies and having to watch your inventory, making sure you don't use up all your ammunition. You know, I like the fixed camera style, but I also like the action Resident Evil games. You know, Resident Evil 4 and 5. I like those games too, because it had improved controls and just really good gameplay. They didn't have as many jump scares, or hardly any jump scares at all, which the old Resident Evil games had. But like I said, I like both styles, the old school style and the action style. And the cool thing about Resident Evil 6 is that you actually get a bit of both. You get a bit of the old school style, which had the atmosphere and having to conserve your ammunition, and you also have the action that you get from the newer games. Now, I've played and beaten Leon's campaign, and I'm just getting started on Chris's campaign. But just going by what I've played in Leon's campaign, I would say this game is awesome. One of my main concerns I had about this game, especially in Leon's campaign, was I was wondering if the game was going to be too easy. Now, the reason why I say this is because in Resident Evil 4 and 5, you're not fighting zombies, you're fighting people that were infected with the Las Plagas, and these enemies move faster and they use weapons and they attack in large groups. And you know, when you played against those kind of enemies in Resident Evil 4 and 5, I was kind of wondering if going back to the zombies, it was going to make it too easy, because we were so used to playing against the infected villagers and the Magini of Resident Evil 5. But I gotta say that the zombies in Leon's campaign, they are no joke. They are challenging. Now, yeah, they are easy to beat if it's just one or two of them out in a wide open space. But when they start coming in large groups, it does become challenging. And I underestimated how hard this game was. Now, I played this game on normal difficulty, you know, because I always start on normal first. I don't start off on the harder difficulties. And, you know, I thought that I was going to be able to get through the first chapter without dying. I thought I was going to cruise through it, but I was wrong. I think I died like 3 times in the first chapter. And the reason why is because these zombies don't hesitate when they attack, especially in large groups. They will come up from behind and attack you. And the way I died the first time was I was in the city streets level of chapter 1, and I was fighting this zombie. I guess you can call it the screamer zombie, because it's the zombie that screams really loud. So I was focused on attacking him, and I didn't see this other zombie crawling on the floor, and it just caught me from behind. That was how I died the first time. But I gotta say that this game is challenging. Now, this game, in the earlier chapters, like chapters 1 and maybe chapter 2, you have to conserve your ammunition, because if you use it recklessly, you will run out of bullets. But I noticed in the later chapters that the game actually starts giving you a whole lot of ammunition. So in like chapters, 4 and 5 especially, I never ran out of bullets. Now I did always seem to get kind of low on herbs. This game doesn't give you herbs as often as the older games would. So I would say that throughout the whole campaign, be careful with your herbs, because if you start using them up too quickly, it may be a while before you get some more. And I just gotta say, I had a great time. I think it took me about 7 hours to beat Leon's campaign. So I'm guessing it's probably going to take me about 7 to 8 hours for Chris and for Jake. So I should get at least. And then that's not even counting Ada's campaign as well. So overall, I should get at least 28 to 30 hours of gameplay just from the single player alone. I haven't tried the mercenaries yet. I'll try the mercenaries mode probably after I beat Chris's campaign. But overall, I gotta say that Capcom did a really great job with this game so far. Now, like I said, my impressions are based on the Leon campaign, so I've only played just a very little bit of the Chris campaign. So I will do more videos on my impressions of Chris's campaign and Jake's campaign on a later day. But I gotta say that from a scale of 1 to 10, I would say Leon's story, I'd give it a 8.5 or a 9, because it was a really good story. His campaign was very fun. It had that atmosphere that was lacking in Resident Evil 5, because I think what messed up Resident Evil 5, there was too many levels that took place in the daytime, whereas in Leon's campaign in Resident Evil 6, all the levels were based on at nighttime. So there was a lot of areas where it was really dark and hard to see, especially when you get to the underground level. It was really hard to see in that level. But that's what makes it scary, is when you can't see your enemies coming. So like I said, I really enjoyed Leon's campaign, and I can't wait to get further into Chris's campaign and to get started with Jake's campaign. So that's my thoughts on Resident Evil 6 so far, and I'll see you guys later.